basically
like,
a voodoo
8,
doll.
like the number or like eating?
The number 8.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So he's like, where the fuck does this come from and what the fuck's going on? So I guess there's no real answer. There's just a crazy thing, again, that happens to him that just he seems to attract this stuff, right? So they look at the doll. Selena, like, looks over this doll and she sees, like, at the back of this doll there's, like, a stitching, like a fresh stitching that's happened, like it's been sewn up. And so she undoes the thread that's stitching this thing up, opens it up and finds some things inside the doll. So the doll apparently has this wooden skeleton inside it, and I guess the bits of the skeleton are like broken. I don't know if that's on purpose or accidentally. Like it's a voodoo doll. Like what is that doing? And apparently inside it as well, there's scrunched up old photos and newspaper clippings that all have to do with this Spanish Latino-looking family. Everything's written in Spanish in the newspapers and stuff. So really weird. All has to do with like one family. And then there's this little tube they also find. Yeah, little tube they also find. And inside the tube was like this piece of silk that was kind of rolled up and put in there of some sort of lacy underwear of some kind. So I don't know what that is or where that comes from, but apparently it doesn't really go too much further into it. It's just like something weird that they found.
Hey, demons are horny too, man. What are you going to do, you know?
Hey, sure they are.
Everyone loves
actually
silk.
like
Everyone loves silk panties. I mean, come on.
Yeah. That's universal, bro.
moist. So anyway, so he's using as he's doing these Ouija board sessions, he's using the recorder to record EVPs, and it picks up this weird sound. And I don't like, you know, EVPs. I'm like, it's one of those things like you hear what you want to hear, I think. But just the fact that you can't hear anything on the live... This is live streaming. You can't hear anything. It's completely silent in the room. And he's recording during the thing. And he'll stop the tape during the live stream and play it back. And you can hear in between him talking, it sounds like there's something answering him. And it's like this scratchy, like... I don't know, like the scratchy kind of animalistic noise that's kind of answering him as he's talking and asking questions and stuff. It's a really weird sound. And it's perfectly timed with, like I said, he says something, he'll ask a question, and this like noise pops through that sounds like it's answering him, which is really creepy when he plays it back. So then he starts asking the question, is Zozo like a pseudonym used by different entities? Like could it be that it's just, you know, a pseudonym that the demons are kind of attaching themselves to just to kind of come through and you know, we've talked about entities on the other side that crave attention, they crave fear, and they'd like feed off it, you know. Is it just something that they're attaching themselves to kind of empower themselves? Because, you know, you think back to the days of like the stories of Solomon and stuff where if you learned the name of a demon, you were able to control it, like they would lose their power. So it's weird that this thing keeps coming through and telling you its real name would be odd, you know? So is it just... Yeah. Is something using this name as just like a pseudonym? So anyway, a week into the experiment, and they're starting to make some good contact. They're picking up some interesting things here and there, but it's, like I said, it's pretty sporadic. And, you know, if they were faking this, would they go to the trouble of doing this whole thing where they're not getting much on a night and nothing's really coming through and, like, a few bits and pieces? Like, yeah, could be. Could be all made up. I'm not rolling that out.
No, I'm not saying it is, but that's what you would do.
Coming through.
Like, I know the signs of someone cheating, like a UFO video or a fake haunting. There's all the signs. Like, of course you would do that. You have to build, like, suspense and disbelief. And, like, of course I'm not trying to fake it. It could all be shot in one night, too. You don't know. Just puts on a different shirt. But anyways, go on. I act like I've done this before or something.
Well, these are live streams, too.
You faker.
These are all live streams. So he's, like, playing it live to a pretty big audience on YouTube.
Yeah, Josh, calm down.
All right. I'm playing the skeptic here. I'm playing
step
Dana
off,
Scully here. Yeah, all right.
So to kind of step things up a little bit, Tim does something I think is just fucking even more stupid. he offers himself over to the spirit, and he says, "You can use my energy to communicate. So use my energy to communicate." And I'm like, "Oh, dude, that is a big yikes for me."
No.
So sitting alone in a house.
What's wrong with this
man? So during this session where he asked this, Selena, who's watching him, says his demeanor suddenly changes and his expression kind of goes blank. And then there's this like fast, but really kind of subtle transformation to his face. Something changes in him. And as he's holding the planchette in front of him, it begins to swing wildly across the board from no to yes to no to yes.
Wait, his hands aren't on it, or his hands on it at this point? His hands are on it.
Yeah.
His hands are on it, yeah.
Okay.
His hands are always on it when it moves. So, again, he could be doing it himself, but still, he goes into this like really, really strange kind of look on his face. Mm-hmm. So after this, he feels different. And he asks if Zozo has been inside his body.
Ooh. Have you been inside of me? Okay.
Oh, wow.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Zozo.
Dirty. Yeah, Zozo, you dirty bugger. So he gets this answer, yes, back. Why, yes. What are you trying to do with it? What are you trying to do with my body? He gets back this answer, decay. D-E-C-A-Y.
Ew.
Decay. And then the words H-A-H-A-H-A, like it's laughing. Ha, ha, ha.
He didn't throw an
Super
LOL?
creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
OMG.
That would have
LOL.
been quicker. Yeah. WTF. So after this, he's like genuinely like terrified at this point. And I watched some of these videos and they were really creepy. Like it really sends like shivers up your spine. I'm like, I don't care if this is real at this point. I'm enjoying myself. I'm having a good time. This is entertaining as fuck. I just want to see a guy destroying his soul on camera. So
literally giving his soul away on camera.
Yeah, he is. He's like, yeah, okay, great. Like, I'm gonna die. Great, awesome.
yeah. Well, it gets darker than this. So he starts hearing these strange noises in the room, and throughout you like hear these like creaks and these like taps happening in the background. He keeps like freaking out, like, what the fuck was that? Jesus. So he looks around and says, what the fuck was that? And then, like, instantly the board starts spelling out, I did it. And then he's like, oh boy. And so he has so I guess he brought the little voodoo doll with him into the session, and he has it sitting on the floor next to him.
Creepy.
Surrounded in a circle of salt. Right? So that's that old protection, being surrounded in a circle of salt. Mm-hmm. And I guess you call that circle of salt in occultic terms, it's called a wall. So he asked the spirit about the voodoo doll. He says, are you happy what I did with the doll? And Zozo says, no. And then he asks, what is around it right now? And it says wall. W-A-L-A-L-L. And then he asks, you said you were in my body to decay. What are you trying to do with me? What does that mean? And he gets back the answer, snap, crackle, pop.
Ooh.
And so what happened to Tim, so he'd been dealing with this really freaky spinal injury that happened. He doesn't know how he got it. It just sort of turned up. His back was super sore. And he started feeling this sensation of snapping and crackling and popping in his back is how he would describe it.
So this
like
is
the
before
cereal.
This is before the
This is
Ouija.
before,
this is
yeah.
before the Ouija board stuff, right? This just right or after?
Yep, this is before. So this is about a
Okay.
month before. But this day that he gets this message, apparently he finally got an MRI done on his back, and they found a fracture in his back. He has no idea how he got it.
Ugh.
And he finally received the MRI reports and pictures on this day that this happened. So after this, like he gets a snap, crackle, pop thing happens, his hands begin to shake on the planchette, and they're like, his hands are like spasming almost, I guess. Huh. And then he asks the entity, "Are you doing this to me?" Because he can't stop it, and it says yes. And then things are quiet for a little bit, and the planchette begins to spell Timmy, Timmy, and then Mine, mine. Timmy is mine, basically. So his name's Tim.
I got the shivers. Like, who would do this?
So Selena's in the by the way, so Selena's not even in the same state as him. She's in another state watching this live stream with everyone else, kind of monitoring the situation. She says during the live stream that at this point something doesn't feel right about this session. Something feels really off. Tim doesn't seem like himself. He seems blank and kind of glazed over. Mm-hmm. So that after this, the planchette starts going H-A, 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 going back and forth like it's laughing at him. And I guess at this point, she was saying, like, all the viewers on the live stream, all the people tuning in, were just like all caps, just going, stop the fucking session, get out of there now, stop it and get out. They're just like screaming at him in the chat, just being like, what are you doing? Fucking stop. And I guess Tim like suddenly stops, looks directly at the camera on the live screen, and at this point he just looks ragged, like he's been awake for days and he's just like done this huge bender. Like it just comes over his face, like he's just wrecked. And he looks into the camera and he says, he's talking to me, with this really strange look on his face. And you can go to YouTube and watch this video, and it is really weird. It's like, if you're acting, dude, you're doing a great job, because I don't know what's happening right now. And so he sort of shakes it off after this, and I was like, oh man, I feel like really nauseous, like I want to throw up right now. And so he plays back the recorder, because he's been recording the whole session. He plays back on the live stream. And during this time when he said, right before he says, like, he's talking to me, you can hear this like chattering noise, like this muffled, crazy voice from beyond the veil is like chattering to him. Mm-hmm. It's this really, really weird sound. And again, it could be like some sort of problem with the recorder or whatever, but it's a really weird timing. And he's recording it real time and playing it back in real time live, so it'd be hard to fake it. I don't know. Anyway, over the next few days, he's experiencing physical problems. Like he's got sleep paralysis. He wakes up in the middle of the night after sleep paralysis and feels like hands around his throat, like he's being choked. These weird physical things. He's feeling run down, tired, and just horrible.
He needs
over
a
the
wand.
next couple of sessions. I know, he needs a wand. Get rid of these attachments. And so the next session that he goes into after this, and he looks haggard at this point. Like this guy's like doing a lot for the clicks. But he asks Zozo, when he finally contacts him again in the next session, he asks Zozo, what do you want? And Zozo writes back, offer. O-F-F-E-R, offer. And he's like, all right, what do you want to offer me?
A kid, I bet.
And it... No. And he writes back, paradise... Paradise now.
What the hell does that mean?
And Tim's like,
he wants to go to Cabo?
Tim's like, all right. yeah. Why don't you take a trip, buddy? And so Tim's like, all right, man, sounds good. Let's go to paradise. How do I do that? And I was like, dude, what are you fucking doing? Like, why are you fucking with this? And it writes back to him, I tell you, dream. And so Tim's like, you'll tell me in a dream? Is that what you mean? And it says, eyes close, count 28 now, like the number 28. So, and he's like, yeah, what's 28? What the fuck's that about? It's like an occult number, right? So Tim's like, all right, let's fucking do this, whatever. And I'm watching this video and I'm like, Tim, don't do this, brother. So he sits there, closes his eyes, and sits there counting 1, 2, 3, and goes all the way up to like. And when he gets to like 9 or 10, I guess, his hands start moving up and like hovering. And I'm like, what is he doing? Like, that's really weird. He has a candle sitting right next to him, and his hand moves over the candle for a couple of seconds, and he's like, fuck! And he burned his hand on the candle. Like he's super confused as to what just happened. Like. It's like his hand was like moving without his control, and put it into the fire and burnt his hand, which